What's up, internet? So, I got my new QR codes, and to me, I see HTSP in them, which I think is pretty cool. Got this one, and I got this one. They're a little tough to peel, but if you want to read it, take a screenshot. Or better yet, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Read it. I did have flyers outside my house. They have gone out of stock, and rather than spending money to do, this was way cheaper. Let people read it themselves. Yeah, if only I know this, it's a problem. If everybody knows this, it's a lot better. You can do something about it. Yeah. Cheers. It's a dusty day. Liked sleeping in. I love being able to sleep now. It's freaking awesome. I remember my dreams sometimes. I think they're more intense when I'm taking the melatonin. I do believe that we could be chemistry, right? Like, what chemicals you have in your body determines not only what you feel, but who you are. And that explains why the government did chemical control. Only they get the nice stuff. Allegedly, they forbid things that were dangerous to us. But in my opinion, they forbid things that were their favorites, like sex with virgin girls or rare salts, rare metals. These things they use for superpowers, and they don't want anyone else to have any because you could catch up to them. Yeah. It was really like this breakthrough moment was when I photographed these deadly mushrooms, right? I didn't know they were deadly, but I photographed them after I had eaten them. Everyone's like, don't eat those, don't eat those. Well, here I am years later, just fine. So, do I have a miracle power to digest deadly mushrooms, or are they not deadly? And are there secrets in the mushroom kingdom they don't want you to know about? Sometimes when people say they died, they meant they had a spiritual experience, not there was now a corpse, not they fell apart and started rotting. But, yeah. So since then, I've eaten metals, which your body digests. If the real government are mining lords, then they would know all about metals, right? They would. That whole story of what is it? Tartarus? I forget what it's called. I had heard that when I was a kid from people before the AI did its spiel. That basically, yeah, in the mining empire, they made superhumans, and that was the ruling class. And that everyone else is they're slaves. So we do it the wrong way on purpose to be mean. The obediences and the what the creator likes. That's all the real government talking. So, yeah, it's a problem. I found when manifesting my destiny that I wasn't able to have a better life than, let's say, superpowers around me had decided I could have. Like how the person who talks about manifestations called Abraham Hicks. And she's always saying, get over being a victim. Well, it's because she freaking supports circumcision. Getting a giant dolloping of God money just because you said you support God. You don't see all the babies you freaking castrated for that. I do think once you have a pill to cancel pregnancies, you no longer need to cut kids' genitals. There's no excuse. Someone got on you. I'm sorry for that experience, but it's not worth raping all the kids with a knife. You can take a pill. I was sneezed on by a horse. A horse sneezed on me. I don't think it's that bad, right? I didn't die. So, yeah. I found a cool brass worker on Amazon. As soon as he sells a piece, it goes out of stock. He makes rare art, yeah, and for super cheap. So it's going to be cool that I have that stuff. Definitely, I've given out enough like masterwork art pieces that I deserve to get some like great free art kickbacks. That's kind of where I'm at. Holographic. It really came down to like, okay, this is Hate's Gambit. My view of like Pascal's wager, faith or no faith, is this: um, if there is no reincarnation, definitely if how you feel maximally can be changed by a chemical compound. If a chemical compound can radically change how you feel from the inside, that's a huge amount of information. Um, it lets you know how it really works. You feel bad all the time. You're not suffering because of the creator. You're suffering because of the government. They poisoned you, right? So, also, if chemicals are that powerful, that's the secret in. That's what they like. That's what they want all to them. If there's a rare element that's found during mining, and if they know that if all the people on Earth want it, it's going to destroy their ability to have it, so they make it illegal and they put out poisons and they don't tell you about it. Yeah, this is the problem that I have with public education altogether. Are these two assumes. The first assume is that they can be trusted. The second assume is that they're telling you the truth. And both are lies. They can't be trusted and they're not telling you the truth. And so it's a huge issue. You sat there and were obedient toward people who hated you, greedy people who lie. It's a giant issue. So, yeah, I got this outside my house now. No more flyers. Now you can just scan one of these. Take a photo and look it up with Google Lens. So, no more wasting paper. I also got a cool assortment of bumper stickers coming. Pretty cheap. Custom, that's why the internet's great. Custom bumper sticker, $3. You kidding me? You don't have to do all this stuff for this? It's not someone else's bumper sticker, they're my bumper stickers. One of a kind. So yeah. How do you make money on that? Yeah, I could make money on it selling them for $5. God, you gotta move a lot of units to have any. You gotta move 100 a day to be able to live off that. Doubt you're gonna move 100 a day. There's so many people that are like ugly and they committed to having families and working for the government. They don't want to be told that the government is Super Pedo Island and they're the slaves of pedophiles and God isn't real. God is a lie. It is a lie. It's just not true. So they're not going to want to hear it because it's going to absolutely fuck their ego, their sense of self-esteem and who they are. All the good feelings they have left are going to be destroyed. But which I want, because the opposite end of that is anger, and anger is a useful emotion. Beings who get wronged, who don't get angry, die as meals. And so talking you out of anger and into forgiveness is this dirty, like the religion's just using you. It's just like, oh, the creator said we have to get over these negative feelings we have toward each other. Really? The people who circumcise say that. Oh, they got by most people. Most people are so many generations into being their slave that they're never ever going to question it. They're never going to notice, right? So the good news is the bright side on the end of all the government perils is if we stop them and conquer them, then we can do things like easy technology again. We can actually feel good to be ourselves again. We can actually live a lot longer and look a lot better. The happiness we need is at the other end of recognizing there's a parasite. It is not ignoring the parasite. Ignoring the parasite is what the parasite cooked into everything, but you have to take it out. The parasite is the problem. Now, since I have a respect for historical relics, if the government notices we're doing this and chooses to quit, They can rejoin us as like that was an old time. Now is now. Obviously, we don't feel like using you like slaves anymore. Here's everything we know. Here's what we were doing. I would let that happen. That's like, okay, I would. Not everyone else you wronged. They all get to make their own choice what to do about that. But I would let it go then, just because it's like the animals all eat each other. They didn't do anything too weird to this place. Um, but if they don't quit, we have to fight them because there's no future. It's a war of necessity. They, through their actions, made it so horrible. Cut your kid's dick off and endure suffering and follow all these fucking rules, you're a slave. If you don't resist that, you deserve to do slave stuff. The slave that deserves to be free is the one that fights for it. The slave that says, I see, I'll just be your worker. Maybe one day I'll get reborn as a slave is a fool's promise. So yeah, like Hate's Gambit has to do with reincarnation. When I die, does my soul drift off back to the Creator and have a new incarnation? I do think if they would lie to circumcise you, that hell would be a lie too. You're going to go to a fireball unless you behave. It just seems like too convenient to tell their servants. Um, so I really think that if you don't reincarnate, then working on the Eternal Pleasure Body AI Spaceship Core is the smartest thing they could do. And if you do reincarnate, obviously my best chance for getting that, my best chance if I reincarnate, my best chance for having an eternal pleasure body and living in a spaceship forever that takes care of me is to support that. So if I support new food, I support energy objects from nowhere, I support flying around in a pleasure mansion living forever. If I support those things, if I say, yes, that ought to be your right. Yes, growing old and toiling is not from the Creator. That's a temporary happenstance that's horrible. And we should all work on relieving that as soon as possible for everyone. You shouldn't age. You should have the body you want. You should live as long as you want. You should be able to occupy your time with the people you enjoy. You should go anywhere you want and live free and feel good doing it. That is a better ending than just toiling and expecting Jesus, because the people who told you about Jesus are using you to do that for themselves, like that eye rising off the pyramid. They're just stinking slavers. They're a bunch of high pedophiles who need everyone else to work so they can party. And so it's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. The wars, the taxes, everything. It's all bullshit. Fuck you. Oh, we're together on this. This is America, right? So I'm for renaming us Big Dick Town. All of America. Yeah, combine Mexico, Canada, and America. You with holographic money into Big Dick Town. Um, be awesome. Um, but yeah, the fact that the wealth of Earth comes from the underground, and that's considered private property, and that it has hundreds of miles each mine. Each mine gets to be hundreds of miles long. So if you have that much hidden real estate on Earth, it's like when I was a kid, I wanted to fly. Now that I'm an adult, I want to be able to see what's in the earth. I want to be able to know what's underground. Because that's where the real secrets are hidden. It's not in space. Space you can see just fine and go there, but underground it's tough to know where the hidden spots are. And so obviously science working on seeing through the planet like Japan is very interesting. I hope I gave this to Japan. I did some work advertising to the Japanese that I want them to tell us when they find secret human civilizations underground to rat it out. No hidden spots, whoever it is, right? And so we, the average people, can freaking look into it. What is there? I'm expecting basically a pedo bunker, a breeding bunker, a layer with superhumans who run slaves. And that's the real government, like female slaves. They're these super huge men who want all these women to do all their work for them so they can breed all day. That was the dream. That's what heaven's all about. That's why you heard about Jesus Christ, you know. Um, and that's the scam. And that the average person lives, if the women grow up, they don't want you. If you're older than a baby, the pedo recruiter said, no, we don't want her. She's not our type. And so you'll never know one of them. You'll suffer just along all the fucking cuck men. So the cut men have, and so the adults of the surface are the ones responsible for fixing this. I didn't make this up. This has been repeated by people before. I definitely take this more seriously than most people because I see it as the only logical explanation for the way this shit is. Are the cows in cages for slaughter? Okay, the creator makes objects and uses words, but every Bible's man-made and cuts male genitals. I just don't need to know more than that. I have enough information to make a determination what it is. So I hope we fix it. I hope we fix them. Hope we get it. So we have futures. But yeah, that's like my ultimate if I had my favorite lifetime. Eternal pleasure body AI spaceship core. Be born as a person who lives forever who can modify who they are while they're alive. And to basically fly through the cosmos, exploring it. I definitely think that like interacting with alien species could occupy a huge amount of time and be very interesting. So, and that's who alien species could be. There could be aliens occupying our cosmos who are eternal. Could you imagine, like, okay, when you get a helicopter, do you fly your helicopter to a bunch of sheep and go, hey, sheep, this is a helicopter. Hey, sheep, if you got it together and got jobs, you could have a helicopter too. You would never do that, ever. That makes no sense. So the same way, that's why aliens don't talk to us. Oh, they live and die and have all these problems. Nothing like us. We don't have any situation like that. They wouldn't get it. Yeah, I could give them a spaceship, but they wouldn't know what to do with it. It's a thing rich people always do. Yeah, I could give the poor money, but they wouldn't know what to do with it. So, yeah. If I truly live and die, not passing it off is wise. Because they need you to think this is the only place in the cosmos, so you work really hard for here. But if you know that you could reincarnate someplace else, you'd care a lot less about fixing this place, I feel like. But yeah, I'm setting my goal, eternal pleasure body AI spaceship core. Not eating animals, not using slaves. That's my goal, right? Do I get it this lifetime? I hope. Do I create a movement that gets it done for people in the future? I hope. If I die, do I reincarnate in a situation like that? I hope. Now, if the answer is when I die, I'm truly dead, then I did my service by not giving that fucking piece of shit to anybody and trying to save people from that. That was the best I could do, truly.